so hopefully it's going to be better.
Breaking to the button.
Oh, so it's still the same. Okay. Am I breaking up?
Yeah, but you did it before when.
Yeah. So I think
It's better. No, Dan, it's better now. It's
okay.
better.
Okay, if it's better, then let's continue.
Okay, let me talk about another issue. You know, because you guys are all young people.
Okay.
Young, intelligent, educated. I mean, you're young people. So let's ask the question: what is the future of work? The future of employment? I think this is a very important issue today, you know. And so basically, what you are going to have in the future is, first of all, very educated people in technology, business, education, science, whatever, okay. But very well educated, very well trained people who will never be in a situation to look desperately for a job. They'll have job offers from all will be able to choose. I mean, this is going to be a minority. I don't talk about the infamous 1%. I mean, very rich people, but I hope we are rich in knowledge. You know, we are basically making a transition from we already made a transition from industrial capitalism to financial capitalism. But now we have another transition to knowledge capitalism, where your capital is your knowledge, basically. It's not so much about how money you have in the bank account, because sometimes this money can be very volatile in a way. But it's about the knowledge you have. And the knowledge you have, you market your knowledge. And if you are well educated and you are intelligent and super qualified, you will always have a huge market for your knowledge, to sell your knowledge. Now, beneath this class, we are going to have a class who will be desperately looking for employment. And sometimes they will have employment, sometimes no. But definitely, well, but never having an employment, a job security. And this class is the middle class, will become a impoverished middle class and working class, looking for a job desperately, and never having the job security that they would like. To give an example, you have do you guys have Uber in Taiwan?
We did, but it was we had it for how long? Maybe a year. How long did we have Uber in Taiwan? 1 year,
Yeah.
2 years?
Maybe one.
Okay,
Maybe about a year. And then the taxi drivers, they made a revolt, and they complained to the government, and because of politics and whatever, or political correctness, and they were saying that all these young people that are educated, why should they take jobs away from old people that, like the old taxi drivers, that they don't have a future, and they wouldn't have another way to make a living, and so on and so forth. So the government did away with Uber. But what's going on now is that most of the people that used Uber before, they still have the platform and they still have their contacts. So you can basically still use Uber from the contacts you made before. So it's kind of like illegal, but of course nobody's going to put you in jail if you drive a car and you drive your friends to work, because there's no way, or you drive your friends somewhere, because there's no way you can prove that you are giving someone a ride as a friend or for business work, so. But anyway, go ahead. What do you want to say about Uber?
Canada States, we have a similar situation to Uber, because the old taxi companies trying to protect their turf, and they, for this is not allowed. It's not allowed at the Chicago International Airport, you know, because it's the taxi drivers fought back. But definitely, what I like to say, even a Uber driver have a volatile job too, because in the future you are going to have cars that driving themselves, you know.
Right.
Will definitely disrupt the taxi industry and trucking industry. And they are becoming better and better. Hey, we had some problems, accidents, but for instance, Tesla promised that your car pay for itself because if you buy a Tesla, in your free time, I mean, when do not need your Tesla, you can hire your Tesla, or your Tesla in the Uber industry, but without a driver, you know? So a person needs a taxi and makes a call to the Uber platform, and here comes your Tesla, that guy gets up into your car, and the car drives itself to destination, you know, and so it's generating profit for you at the same time. So this is a new kind of, let's say, the truck industry is going to be disrupted by Google and by artificial intelligence, and now they just make an announcement that they created an AI that fits. So we have in the States a lot of Mexicans making a living. I mean, not very good money. I mean, like a few dollars an hour by picking apples in the orchards. But in the future, we will have machines picking apples, and so they'll be basically unemployable. And so you're going to have a large class looking desperately for a job, negotiate their salary, and basically not being able to establish old-fashioned, old-time syndicates, you know, to protect their interests. Because everybody will be desperately looking for a job for himself, not being able to stick together in the unions to fight back against the companies and so on. And that class, unemployable, basically unemployable. Now this class will become a social problem and a political problem. And definitely the best way to keep them quiet is to let them do drugs and dream and use all kinds of computer games and computer applications to immerse themselves in a dream world, you know, pornography and all kinds of stuff and computer games, whatever. They'll have all these toys to kill their times, and they'll definitely minimum basic income, so as not to starve, but you have to keep them from generating a revolution, a mass movement. So you need to entertain them and so on. I mean, what I like to say is that basically in the future needs very good education. Well educated. I don't say that this word is good. I mean, it's what is going to happen. And for instance, take Europe. Take Europe, okay? Take Paris. Paris is not only a big city, it's a symbol of culture and arts and good taste and whatever. Now, what you have in Paris now, you have enclaves with very rich people that have very districts and the certain places of the city where everything is clean and beautiful. And so, on the other hand, you have the immigrants. And immigrants live in housing projects, not basically in economic misery, but they have jobs to do domestic jobs, manual tasks, with very low salaries. I mean, very low salaries, but they need to do some domestic jobs to to clean the house, to mow the lawn, and so on. And you have the former working class and middle class, which basically vanished, you know. Many of them moved away from Paris in the countryside because they cannot make it in the new environment. For instance, if they want to move in a project building, which is not very nice, by the way, you know. But there are project buildings. The socialist regime of France built a lot of project buildings, but there they will come across a lot of immigrants that are not happy to see a stranger among them, because he is going to be an immigrant in a housing project inhabited by immigrants, you know.
Right.
And as French socialists even spoke about a kind of game, like when a French an immigrant and they look at each other, they cross eyes, and who is the first to look down, you know? It's usually the French, not the African or Middle Eastern immigrant, because there are many of them. And so these people who, like 20 years ago, were making $20 an hour, now they make nothing. They are just in poverty. While the immigrants work for $10 an hour, you know, qualified work and so on. Now, you can imagine huge sociological, social changes in the future.
Right.
And I mean, the new elite is going to be the capitalists of knowledge. Those people who with a bank account, probably inherited from parents, you know. No, they enter business with a capital of knowledge that make them necessary and make them impossible to replace by other people. And so, I mean, the best investment in the future, I know, in business. I mean, you don't know what is going to happen, and the market is very volatile, and nothing is safe, you know. But one investment is safe: investment in education, in knowledge, in brain, you know. So the more you invest in your brain, the more you are going to write in the future, and you are going to have job security. And basically, you know, today, for instance, it's not let's say, the old-fashioned owner of a company, because there is no, it's just, you know, just stockholders and the board of directors, but it's the CEO, I mean, the executive, the expert that makes it. And so the new elite is just people who have the know-how, have the knowledge, and they market knowledge. So this is knowledge capitalism, you know?
Yeah.
And so I believe that that's why this time in your life is very important, because you need education. You need absolutely, it's the best investment you can make is your education. And if you have good education, you have knowledge, you are an expert, then times will change. There's going to be new opportunities and new failures, new catastrophes, new big things in the future, and it's going to be people with big ideas that will succeed.
Okay. Let me interrupt you for a minute here and then see if anybody has any ideas or any opinions that we can ask you or we can discuss with you at this point. So actually what Eddie was saying is that one of the best investments to make is in knowledge capitalism. So before we made the transition from the industrial capitalism to financial capitalism, so a lot of people like to invest, you know, stocks, this and that and the other. But that, just like everything else in the past, is not going to last. So the next wave, or the next stage, is going to be the knowledge capitalism. In other words, if you have a certain knowledge that you can use to produce something, okay, you're going to be you're going to be indispensable. In other words, no one can replace you, or no one can do what you can do. So what Eddie is saying is that the best thing to do before you try to decide on how to create a business, or what kind of business you want to create and how you're going to do it. First, you need to invest into knowledge, acquiring knowledge, as much knowledge as we can, and then we can try to figure out how to invest this knowledge, how to use this knowledge to create some business opportunities. Okay, whatever those opportunities may be. Opportunities are many, and obviously there's international business is one of the best now with globalization and the internet. It offers the best opportunities anywhere in the world, or from any kind of business environment. But in order to capitalize, in order to take advantage of the opportunities of international business, we have to first invest in knowledge. Okay, any area of knowledge like artificial intelligence, computer technology, new technologies, green technology, okay, solar technology, all these new areas, they're going to replace the previous or older technologies, like fossil fuels, oil, coal, whatever we use at this point to produce energy. They're going to be replaced by greener and green technologies, solar technologies. And this is the area where we can find lots of opportunities in the future. So, based on what I have told you and what Eddie have said, do you have any points or anything that you want to talk about, or you want to discuss? Anything you like about business, opportunities, environments, anything? Come on, I'm sure you can think of at least one question. Go ahead.
About knowledge, capitalism.
Okay, knowledge. Okay, Eddie, we're gonna ask you something about knowledge capitalism. Is that okay? Yeah? Okay, go ahead, Jack.
Yeah.
Okay, it's not Jack, it's...
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead. You just use the microphone so he can hear you.
I want to ask about knowledge capitalism. That's the new a chance for us to invest, but I thought the risk assessment is not the risk assessment is the risk cannot assessment.
Mm-hmm. There's no way to assess the risk, you mean?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So, Eddie, so what Jack is trying to say is that
I understand. No, I think.
how do we assess? Okay, let's say we invest into some kind of knowledge, right? But how do we assess whether our investment into this kind of knowledge is can pay off, or is it risky? You spend a bunch of money and time, to get this knowledge, and then what? Okay. Yeah.
It's a very good point. Because let's imagine you prepare to be a geologist, looking for coal, for instance, for coal, yeah. Or you prepare to be an engineer in the oil industry, and you either become very rich because as oil is becoming more and more harder to dig. Okay, so the more we exhaust the superficial they have to dig deeper. So I mean, the better way are to find oil. Access. Oil is going to be more and more expensive, and so are going to make more and more money. I mean, what happens if mankind decides that they have enough with fuel economy, fuel energy,
Fossil fuel,
and
yeah.
yeah, and they want to invest in green energy. This is a very good question. So your knowledge, your capital of knowledge is depreciating.
Yeah.
This is a fact. Anyway, probably one good capital of knowledge is the ability. What is going to happen in the future? This is a very important question. I mean, definitely there are some expertises that you still can put under a question mark. But other, I believe, are more likely to succeed in the future. For instance, if you are a software engineer, I doubt that there will come a time in our life or in your life when a software engineer, a good software engineer, will not be able to profit from his or her knowledge. I just read about a person, I don't remember exactly the details, that just sold software, an application for financial, for Wall Street. I mean, something like cutting up stocks or whatever, you know, something calculating the risk in business also, with a few $100 million. You know? I mean, it's fantastic. So probably even the risky environment creates an opportunity for risk management. You know? So everything is very risky. I mean, so people who will to anticipate the future, to will have to will have a knowledge capital, very precious, very much looked after in the market. And so this is a problem. You are very right. I mean, yes, you have to assess the risk given knowledge. I mean, if you spend 10 years in educating yourself in something that nobody needs, then there is a situation here in the United States of America. A teacher, a professor, a college professor. She was a very good professor, African American studies in New York, and she was not African American, but she was a good professor of African American studies. Now she lost her job, and she is desperately looking for a job, but nobody needs this kind of expertise. I mean, yes, there are, in every university in the United States, there are African American studies sponsored by the government, but it's not something that people really need, you know, to have. And so she invested her life in something that doesn't pay off. I think this is a fact, yes. I mean, definitely, I believe that people who invest a lot in liberal humanity,
Liberal studies, yeah.
do not make the best investment there. I mean, from a business perspective, the best investment in their lives today. I mean, it's a matter of question whether or not it will pay off in the future. You know? But this is just I noticed that economists have a tendency to invest less and less in liberal education, you know, and more in scientific education and technological education. And so I believe that this or business education.
Yeah. Okay, so Jack, the point is that we have to look at the environment and we have to look at the trends. So, of course, some trends or some businesses that were making lots of money up until recently, maybe like fossil fuel, you know, the oil industry. It's not going to be as safe, and the risk is higher to invest into that. But there are other, we can look at the current trends. So if we, if we look around, there's a lot of information on the internet. We can see which trends are booming, and will boom for the next 20, 30 years or so. Obviously, science and technology are two areas where are never going to be risky to invest into, because we're always going to need science and technology. But the point is, of course, not all of us like these kind of areas, right? Some of us like other things. And for example, we study international business. What according to your understanding, or according to your knowledge up to this point, what do you think might be a trend or an area in international business where you want to gain more knowledge or to invest, so that, like you said, so that you can reduce the risk of, gaining knowledge in an area where in the future it might no longer be necessary or useful. Like Eddie said, there was a teacher, she's a very good professor in African American studies, but she lost a job and she cannot find another job because this field doesn't really do anything. Who cares about African American studies, right? I mean, it's not something that you can make money, it's not something that you can invest or anything like that. So how are you going to invest into something that you like? But obviously she must have liked this study, African American studies, because that's why she spent time to gain knowledge in it, right? But maybe what we can do is, and I don't know if I told you already, I've kind of came over this job, being a college teacher, professor, whatever. I kind of came to it both by education and by chance. But I know that in the future we might rely more on AI to educate students. So even teaching may not be a very solid profession in the near future. So I'm trying to find out new areas that I can learn, and I can perhaps if the time ever comes, I can make the transition from this job into another job or a different job to, so that I don't happen to have the same situation like this lady, which is teaching.
Ben, sorry, may I disagree?
Sure, absolutely, yeah. I think
Let
this.
me say something. I believe that the jobs to be taken by any repetitive jobs. I believe that. I don't speak about this, but even probably foreign languages, because in a few years we'll being trained in a foreign language will value nothing, because in a few years Google will be able to translate good, and we'll have interfaces to translate whatever, So I mean, definitely. But I believe that creative jobs, it's something that being a good teacher, a good coach, having a creative job in the music industry, for instance, in literature, wherever, is not something to be replaced by AI. I believe that AI will replace teaching as a repetitive job, the run-of-the-mill teacher, the flat teacher, the routine teacher, the blah blah teacher. It is something a computer kind of. But when coming to new ideas,
Creativity, especially, yeah.
You cannot replace the human mind. You have to understand that, on the contrary, I believe that the repetitive jobs will free our mind to dedicate itself to creative tasks, and this will be another opportunity. For instance, I believe that a good artist, for instance, will ever pay. Being a good artist, being a good actor or singer, writer, whatever, will ever take. Because no computer will replace human creativity. Because it's something biological, actually. It's not just logic, it's not just intelligence. I mean, if you're a good teacher, it's not just your intelligence, it's your guts. I mean, it's your unconscious mind. It's your biology, even your biology. I mean, it's something different. I mean, just sorry for interrupting.
No. I'm glad that you did. I agree that human creativity and human and having guts, being able to come forward with a new idea and implement it and try to make it work, is definitely that AI is never going to do.
Absolutely.
But I think that okay, maybe a teacher or a smart teacher or an efficient educational system may take AI and use it in many instances to teach, like you said, repetitive repetitive things or repetitive knowledge that or basic knowledge or general education knowledge that every student should learn. So I think that a lot of this general stuff and repetitive stuff will replace maybe a lot of the inefficient teachers or the teachers that right now they just teach general education or blah blah blah. But I do agree with the fact that those teachers that are innovative, creative, those that can teach new ways of learning business and many areas of science and other important areas, technology of course, and information systems and so forth, of the kind of things that are really important in developing new minds and new people. These people will always be needed, and they will be irreplaceable by artificial intelligence. So
I would even say, David, I would even say that the crisis we talked about, the financial crisis, with subprime mortgage and so on, it was partly generated because computers replace the human factor. For instance, when a person is applying for a credit, he has to pass a test, and the computer says it's okay. But definitely a person looking into that person's eyes could read that person's mind and see whether or not it should be trusted. Now, talking about school, a computer, an AI, can evaluate a test and give a mark, and even can create a good test. But definitely you as a teacher, as a professor, you look into a student's eye and you see the hidden power within himself or herself, you see the gift in the future. And you can evaluate a student a way no computer can evaluate, because you don't go by which is peculiar to human nature, and in artificial intelligence. So I believe that your job will be more important. If you are a good professor, definitely, no computer can beat you.
right.
Or you
Okay.
can motivate, you can role a role model, You motivate the way a machine cannot motivate.
Right. Any other opinions or questions? Come on, we don't have much time, so now it's your chance. This is a very special opportunity, so we don't know when we can get Eddie to come again. So anybody has another question, or that was actually a very good point. Anybody has another question or opinion? Go ahead. No? Yes? You want to say something? No? Okay. Well, seems like We enjoyed listening to you. So, do you have anything else you want to say, Eddie?
I had a good time. You're interrupting a lot, but I have
Okay. Jack actually has another question.
How do you think international business for international company? Nowadays, consumer can buy anything online. Does international business company have future?
Okay. You know, Eddie, he's saying that all these international businesses that are, especially into sales, you know, that have maybe like physical locations and whatnot, because the nature of business, especially sales, it's the internet sales or internet business sales is it's getting bigger and better and more efficient. How will this affect the businesses, both local and international, that are into sales? You know, it's interesting because even in Chicago, I saw that some of those malls, they have closed down and they have turned it into like apartment buildings, very beautiful ones. You know, a lot of malls have been closing down around the world, and they've been turning them into, you know, like office or especially apartment buildings. What do you think of that?
I wouldn't invest in let's say, in local or localized retail, yeah. Like because if you look around, the best business is being done by Amazon.com, yeah. And so they less and less on retail offices, on the retail warehouses, you know. And so I believe that. So the internet sale is the future, and a lot of, here is another huge market of software applications for internet business, you know. But I'd like to say that right now we kind of set back because there is a lot of discontent among people in the new economy. And there is a lot of movement against globalism and nationalism is going back in Great Britain, in Europe, definitely in the United States with Trump. But this is a temporary setback, you know. People are so stupid to believe that they can go back in time in the good old times. It's not the case, I mean. You better be prepared for globalization. I believe that the future is the global economy, global business, global trade, whatever is global, this is the future. Nationalism and parochialism will vanish in time because you cannot go against the future, you know? I mean, if you are dinosaurs, you either learn to fly or you die, okay? And so, I mean, if you take a geological perspective, step back and look in geological time, so to say, at our time. We are in a time 60 million years ago when the dinosaurs vanished, you know. But not all the dinosaurs vanished. Some that grow wings, and they learned to fly and became birds, you know. And so I believe that in our time, some people are growing wings, and they are learning to fly. Well, businesses and all people will vanish. And of course, they don't want to die off, so they are trying to keep, to hold the progress back with nationalism, parochialism, and there is turmoil. And basically, of course, stores are closing all around the world, and even more stores going to go bankrupt because I think I better go on the internet on an online platform and make a mouse click. I have the opportunity to compare costs around the world.
Right.
Yeah. I just compare prices and the merchandise on my laptop and make a mouse click, and 2 days later the postman comes and brings a package for me, you know. So why not? Okay, of course. So this is the future.
Yeah. So basically what Eddie is saying is that you know, physical retail, you know, opening up a store or something like that, it's definitely not a good investment. But the technology for online retail, you know, like you know, they use a lot of software to connect, you know, customers and stores and online stores and to do product comparison and all this stuff. This is definitely something we can invest in because internet retail. This has been the present and it's going to be the future. Of course, there might be some stores here and there, you know, probably not many because most of them will close down. There will be some because I think sometimes people they just want to get out of the house and and go somewhere, not necessarily to buy anything, but just to look. But
Wait a minute.
yeah, you know now you know what they use the malls for now most of the time.
Absolutely, absolutely.
They use malls for dining out. You know they have all there's more and more. There's more and more.
They have Starbucks, they have cinema, they have everything.
There's more and more places to eat and to drink in the mall now than was ever before because more and more stores are closing down and they're opening up. They have more empty space, so they're opening up more and more restaurants and yeah. Okay, Eddie, we wanna wish you a good morning.
My pleasure, guys.
Time-
Thank you, okay?
Time is up for our class, and I know it's very late for you too, but we want to thank you again
Very
for.
early for me, not very late.
Let's take a quick picture with you. Hold on, don't leave. We want to take a picture with you. So why don't we come up here and then ask somebody to take a picture of us with Eddie. Hold on, Eddie. Let me see if I can find someone. Come on, let's come and have a picture. Okay, I found somebody to. So just maybe two of you give him your phone so we can. Yeah, let's just kind of have Eddie's face here. No. And then we can just sit somewhere. Okay. And take 2 or 3 pictures.
One, two, three. Okay. 1, 2, 3.
Okay. It's Eddie. Okay, Eddie. Thank you. Okay. Thank you, Eddie.
Thank you for your time, okay? Bye-bye.
Bye. Have a good morning.
Thank you.
Okay, guys. So what I will do is I feel kind of bad that.